Sunday. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about being single, stuck, and in situationships. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tolu. I'm a Christian dating coach and I specialize in helping single Christian women meet their husbands and get married. Now, my Dating to Marry program, where I work with you one-on-one to help you get into a committed relationship leading to marriage, is currently open for applications. So you can click the link in my bio to apply, and I'll review your application, let you know if you're the right fit for the program. We hop on a call, we come up with a very clean and simple plan for your dating to get you started into the process of getting into a relationship that leads to marriage. So the link is in my bio. If you're watching me live on Instagram, you can see I've pinned the link. So today I wanted to talk about being single, feeling stuck, and constantly in a cycle of situationships. So if this is something that you can relate to in the comments, let me know. Just drop a yes in the comment box. If you have any questions for me and you're watching this live, just drop it in the Q&A. Now, let me tell you why this is happening, okay? Firstly, being single is the fastest way for you to get married, but a lot of you are running away from your singleness like it's a disease, like it's some sort of sentence, and not understanding that it's a season, right? If you understand that you are in a season, you will be able to understand how to use that season to get into the path for your marriage. Singleness is the fastest way to get married, okay? Because you need to be single and available to meet your husband and to get into a relationship leading to marriage. Now, apart from clearing that up, I also want you to understand situationships happen when you are not clear on your commitment to that person. So you both are not in a relationship. They definitely are not a stranger. They are not somebody that you just met. It feels like a relationship, but it is not one. That's a situationship. Now, this is why you're stuck. Okay, I just wanted to clarify so that as we dive into this, you really understand why I'm giving you the reasons I'm giving you for your constant experience of situationships, why you feel single and stuck. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is the reason why you're single, stuck, and situationships is you're dating men that do not value they don't see you as a potential partner. They don't value your opinion. They don't see you as wife material. They do not see you as somebody that they want to commit to. But these are the men you're dating. And how you know that this is the experience you're having is you may have experienced that they constantly insult you, they talk down on you, you would feel disrespected, you feel used, you feel like they only show up when they want something from you, they sweet talk you when they want something, and they disappear when they don't want anything. They don't respect your time, they don't value your opinion. This is how that looks like. Now, what's interesting is every other area of your life, you're not somebody that your opinion isn't valued. Professionally, you're successful, you hold a certain level of authority in your professional circles, you're intelligent, but he uses this against you. He uses your intelligence against you. He makes you question if you are actually somebody that has something of value to say. He plays down your achievements. He manipulates the way that you look at your accomplishments. This is how you know that you are dating a man that doesn't value you. Now, the reason this is happening is because you are not clear on what exactly is a value that you have to offer. You are clear on how it shows up professionally. You're able to clearly articulate how you are professionally valuable. You're able to clearly articulate how you are able to add value to your environment and surroundings. But in a relationship, usually it's because you haven't experienced a value dynamic that is healthy. So you've probably grown up in an environment where you were not valued. Maybe you grew up in a family setting where your opinion didn't count, or you noticed that your parents weren't particularly loving, or you grew up in a single parent household. There's something around the way you've experienced relationships that is making you difficult to actually even know how to present your value in a desirable way. Now, how we clean this up inside the Dating to Marry program is I show you your value visibility factor. So that simply means what makes you valuable and how you can lead with it in a way that is visible and attractive to the right man. Because if you don't know what's making you valuable, if you don't know the way to show up in a relationship dynamic, if you don't know how to present yourself as you're dating and meeting men, you're definitely going to struggle with how to identify the right men for you. So that's why you're in that cycle of situationships, because you don't even know when a guy is not taking your value seriously, and you don't know what it looks like. You don't pick up the signs early enough. And I was sharing in one of my other lives, I'll share it with you here. Like, a client was in a situationship for months, and usually, I have clients that come in with that particular problem, stuck in situationships. She was stuck in this situationship cycle for months on end, going to 7-8 months, and she wasn't particularly sure how to get out of it. So we worked on her value visibility factor. Like, I gave her a strategy around, this is your value, this is how you're meant to present it and how you're meant to position it. The reason I do that with clients is because when you understand what your value is, it's very difficult for someone else to tell you what it's worth. It's like you see a really nice bag, maybe it's a Chanel bag, a Dior bag, and someone tells you it's free, it's cheap. You may not know the price, but you definitely know it is not cheap. You definitely know it is not free, except they're giving it away in a charity or something. You know that it carries a certain amount of value. There is a value that you have ascribed to it before even being told the price. That is what happens when, using that analogy, when you're clear on what your value looks like, it's easier for you to be visible with it, and it's easier for you to know when a man is valuing you or he's not valuing you. So when I did this exercise with that client, she was able to clearly understand that he wasn't taking her value seriously, and she was able to successfully break out of that situationship. For you to be able to start dating men that want to get into a committed relationship with you, you need to understand what your value is and how to make it visible in a tangible way. Okay? Now, the second reason why you're stuck and in situationships, and even though you're single, you have men around you, but it is not leading to any productive commitment. It feels like they're just there to take and take. They're not giving you any of their time and attention. They do not want to invest in the relationship, so to speak, is because you're repeating the same pattern with different men. You're repeating the same pattern with different men. So it doesn't matter if you met him at an event, through a friend, online, organically, maybe you were friends first. The point is, your pattern is the same. Your pattern is consistently putting you in a position whereby you are entertaining situationships. So the first thing you want to do is break out of that cycle. You want to break out of that cycle. So when you come into the Dating to Marry program, I show you exactly how to look at your history so that we can identify the common areas, common triggers, and break you out of that pattern. Because if you keep repeating the pattern, you're going to get the same results. It's like 2 + 2 will always be 4. 3 + 1 will always be 4. It doesn't matter how you put it, where you put it, it will always lead to that result of 4. So you want to break out of that pattern. In other words, you want to get a different result. Now, if you put 2 + 3, that's 5. Okay, so that's a different result because you broke out of that pattern. That's what I mean by breaking out of your pattern. It's really important. If not, you will repeat the same. And how you know you're repeating the same pattern is you have the same issues with different men. You have the same issues with different men. You are always in situations where men take advantage of you financially. You're always in situations where men do not want to commit to you for exclusivity. You're always in a love triangle. It means that you are repeating the same pattern. That's all that means. It means that you are dating the same way. That is why you keep getting the same problems and you keep getting the same result. It is not because his name is John. It is not because you met him online. It is not because he came through a friend. It's not because you were very nice to him. It is because you are repeating the same pattern. Okay, I really want you to get that. So this is why when clients come into the Dating to Marry program, I like looking first at their history. Like, let's see where your common patterns are. Let's be able to clarify this. And there's a whole process I put my clients through to be able to do this. Some patterns are aware, you may be aware of them, but the most stubborn patterns are usually subconscious. You are not aware. You don't know that you do this. It's kind of like how maybe you have a very close friend, when they're angry because they always tap their toes. That's their forget the word they use for it, but that's their giveaway. That's something that gives them away. When they're tapping their foot, they're angry. They may have no idea that they do that. They have no idea. But you know, like, you're looking through their body language, you're like, oh, Temi is angry. She's starting to tap her foot. That is a subconscious pattern that is manifesting itself physically. A lot of you have subconscious patterns in dating you're not even aware of. There are certain things that have shown up in your life, and this is why in the Dating to Marry program we start with you first. Like, I like looking at you first in terms of how you've shown up in dating, in terms of your history, and cleaning that up so that we are clear on how we're going to be able to get you on the path to attracting your husband. Because if you're repeating the same cycle, he is not in that cycle. That is why you haven't met him yet. He is not in the cycle of 2 + 2 = 4. He's in the path of 2 + 3 = 5. Okay, using that analogy. So if you keep meeting and attracting and being stuck in situationships with the same men, your husband is not in that cycle. You need to break out of that cycle to meet him, right? So that's the second reason. And how you know, another way you know you're repeating the same pattern is, it's because you have started to pay attention to, looking for the best way to say this, you have started to, instead of paying attention to your patterns, you're distracted by what people are telling you. You're under some sort of family pressure to settle. You feel like time is running out. You're over 30. You're really starting to question if marriage will ever happen. So you're dating out of this fear. And as a result, you are afraid to say the wrong things to men. You start dating with timidity and anxiety. You start dating with hope, which is not how you should be dating. You should be dating with faith, not hope. You start dating with the fear that it's just never going to happen, and you start considering men that you would never consider. You start tolerating things you would never tolerate, and it just adds to that cycle being more aggressive. In other words, it makes it more difficult for you to break out of it. Okay? So that's the second reason why you're stuck in situationships. You find it difficult to break out. It feels like you're in this sentence of singleness. It's the way your pattern is showing up with the men that you are entertaining. Now, another reason is you wait too long for exclusivity. You wait too long, and it can be too long, or you give into exclusivity too quickly. So either one of those, like, you get exclusive too quickly. Now, this is for you specifically if maybe your issue isn't that he doesn't want to commit. Maybe he is your boyfriend, but you realize that he's not acting like your boyfriend. In other words, he's not a partner. He's not somebody you can trust and rely on. It feels like you're carrying 90% of the relationship. It feels like you're dragging the relationship along. It doesn't feel like he's invested. It doesn't really feel like he's involved. You feel like you're the one that is responsible for a whole lot of things. It doesn't feel like there's any tangible reassurance that this is somebody that wants to commit to you for marriage. Okay, this is the problem. There is your timing. So it's either you got exclusive too fast, or you waited too long to get exclusive. Now, the reason this usually presents itself is you are just looking at the title. You're just looking at the title. You're not paying attention to what that title represents. So you're just looking at the title in terms of, oh, this is my boyfriend. Finally I can introduce someone to my family. Finally I can say I'm in a relationship. Finally I can say that, okay, this is somebody I can marry. You're failing and forgetting to look at his approach. And what we do inside Dating to Marry program, I have what I call a king magnet, which shows you exactly the steps that you should be taking before you come to the point of commitment, and really how to position yourself to start attracting men that you can commit to without getting lost in, pressure, feeling like time is running out, and so on and so forth. Usually when you find that you get exclusive too quickly with men, or you wait too long for exclusivity, it's because you have no boundaries. That's something I've seen. You have no boundaries, so you're struggling with your boundaries. This person doesn't share your values. You know that they are somebody that doesn't respect your opinions, but because you are not actively invested in your boundaries, you just enter the relationship. And the funny thing is, it just gets worse. You may pretend to be someone we both know you are not, to try and get his approval, to try and lie to yourself that this is actually what you want. And the true reason for that is you're just afraid that you're never going to find what you need. okay, in a man. You're dealing with men, usually you're dealing with men that make you wait. They tell you, if you're on the end of the scale whereby men are telling you that I just need more time, I'm not ready to commit, you're dealing with men that are making you wait. So they tell you they just got a divorce, they tell you that they have kids to take care of, they tell you they just got out of a long-term relationship, they just relocated, they just started a new job. All these reasons, they just give you lies. They are reasons, they're valid, but they're lies, because that is not the real actual fact as to why they don't want to commit. They just don't want to commit to you, but they're enjoying the benefit of your presence, whether sexually or financially or emotionally. They're just enjoying some benefit that you're providing, and they don't want you to leave, so they just tell you what they want, what they think you need to hear. Now, this is why I always encourage clients to make sure that they start dating with the Holy Spirit. So, inside the Dating to Marry program, it's a Christian program, as you guys know. I show you how to partner with the Holy Spirit in the way you are dating, so that you are coming up with practical strategies to date with the leadership and with the assistance of the Holy Spirit. It's very important, because you will be receiving information. You may be too invested in this guy. Maybe his name is Tom. You may be too invested in Tom to hear physically or to see with your physical eyes. But God knows you're a dreamer, and he gives you a dream of revelation. So it's good to be in a place where you're spiritually sensitive. And what I do with my clients is I show them how to tap into their God-given abilities to be able to discern when they are dating, so that they know whether or not the person they're dating is your husband. Okay. This really comes in handy when we're thinking about exclusivity, because you do not want to be getting committed to a guy that is not your person, not your husband, not interested in being involved with you intimately or long term. You don't want to be wasting your time like that. Now, another reason, let me know if this is helpful, just tap the hearts. Another reason why you're stuck in situationships and it feels like singleness is taking forever is, I'm going to deal with those that are in relationships that just never seem to be heading anywhere. It's because you make a lot of assumptions. You assume exclusivity means that this is somebody you can marry. You assume that because he's your boyfriend, then he inevitably is going to become your husband. You assume that because you met him at church, that he takes his relationship with God seriously. You assume because he's doing well professionally, he's emotionally intelligent. And usually you get the shock of your life when you realize those two things do not actually, they are not a guarantee. Just because he goes to church, he may not even be a practicing Christian. Just because he has professional status you will find that it doesn't mean he's emotionally intelligent. You may find that he's actually not that smart, or not that intuitive. You may even find that just because he says he wants to settle down and get married doesn't mean he wants to marry you. So you make a lot of assumptions around exclusivity, and because of that, you start missing a lot of red flags and you start having a lot of blind spots. This is usually how you get scammed. You get scammed financially. You will see that he will take advantage of you emotionally. You will start being taken for granted. He will leverage your network in his favor. And you pick it up enough to bring it up, but you don't know how to navigate the arguments that come up as a result of this. So you struggle to navigate disagreements because you are invested. I mean, you are in a relationship with this person, and you're really struggling to understand how to navigate the conversation in a way that is productive for the relationship, forgetting that he is not invested, so he doesn't care. But because you're invested, you're really struggling to figure out how to navigate disagreement. You will find that you lose more and more of yourself in the relationship. You lose more ground. You start feeling less and less of yourself. It feels like you're struggling to reconcile who you actually are as a person, and it's because of that relationship, and it's because you made certain assumptions in his favor. So how we deal with this, in Dating to Marry program, I have I'm going to share with you one of my frameworks. It's called STAR. So STAR simply means you look at it's what they call it. I think the word is acronym, but it's they both the words symbolize a strategy, okay? S stands for what makes this man stand out. You're looking at his spirit, his soul, what makes him stand out, and basically you're paying attention to your sensitivity. T is all about why are you taking him seriously. What about him is suggestive that his timing is in alignment with your own. A means focusing on how actions show up to support his intentions. What exactly is inspiring you to admire this person and have affection for him, and how is that? And R finally means how is that being reciprocated? What are the results that you're seeing in the relationship, and why have you decided on commitment? So that's the STAR framework. But it's really important that you know what your own STAR factor looks like to be able to understand how you are going to make men, how you're going to attract men to that desire to enter into exclusive relationships with you for marriage. I always say that as a Christian woman, you get to choose your husband. And the reason I say this is because I believe that, unfortunately, in the faith, I don't know whether it was done consciously or subconsciously, but there is this assumption that there's only one man you can ever marry. There's only one person out there for you, which is not true. You get to choose your husband. You get to choose the man you want to commit to. You get to choose the man that you're going to have children with, that you're going to build your legacy and, continue your lineage with. It's important to understand that so that when you are dating, you know when you are making certain decisions. You understand that the man you're choosing is not just for you. It is literally in terms of looking at the children you want to have, the characteristics that you're saying you want your children to have, and so on and so forth. When you date, that's how you date to marry. Okay, so inside the dating to marry program, I show you your STAR factor so that you are dating to marry. You're not just dating for fun. A lot of you think you're dating to marry, but you're actually dating for fun. And what happens in some cases is you enter a marriage that God never sent you into. You make you come to false conclusions. You come to assumptions that lead you to marry a man that God never sent you to marry. Even though your pastor said it was fine, your parents said it was fine, your circle said he's a great guy, God didn't say so. And then you enter a marriage, you wake up, you realize this isn't what I want, this isn't what God sent, this is not the marriage God assigned me to. So the dating to marry program is to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So what I do with my clients is show them their STAR factor. In other words, how they can use what they're seeing to be able to make conscious decisions around taking this man seriously, looking at actions and coming to the result that lets them know whether or not they want to marry this person, and how they can position themselves to attract that kind of man and that quality and caliber of man so that they can step into the marriage God has for them. That's the whole point of the dating to marry program. Now going back to this, the final reason that I will share that you're always stuck in relationships and situationships is because you assume that exclusivity means you can marry him. Just because he's your boyfriend does not mean he's your husband. I always say this thing to my clients, and I'll say it to you as well. Just because God said you can date him doesn't mean that God says you will marry him. Now, that is assuming that you asked God in the first place. There may be a lesson inside that relationship that you would not have gotten in the way God intended if not for that relationship. An example I like giving is, just because God gave you that job doesn't mean that he will not call you out of that job. In other words, he may have given you the job that you applied for, but there is going to be a time where he may say that you should leave the job. Okay, or he may promote you within that role. Same way with the relationship, he may promote you within that role. He may say, okay, this is your husband, and move ahead. The important thing is to walk with God at each step of the way, which is why I show my clients how to make sure that they are partnering with the Holy Spirit as they date. Because you are assuming that you're going to marry him, you find that you don't know. Oh, I've already shared this point. I'm just sharing it in a different way. You don't know how to navigate disagreements in the relationship. And finally, I will say you're setting the bar too low for exclusivity. A lot of you are just agreeing to be exclusive because he asked. Like, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend? You said yes. There's no other reason. You have no other reason why you're committing to this person. Or maybe, you had a life event come up. It's your birthday. A friend got engaged and married. They've asked you to be a bridesmaid again. You went to the doctor. They were pushing on you about your biological clock. There's usually some external pressure that makes you set your bar too low. And as a result, the irony is it makes it more difficult for you to actually get into the right relationship because your bar is too low. A lot of you are in relationships and you're not even attracted to the guy you're committed to, which is a clear flag that that is not your husband, because you will be attracted to your husband. It's not something that you can negotiate. It is a fact. But yeah, this is why you find yourself stuck and in situationships. Just to go over what I've said, it's because you're dating men that just don't value you. They don't see you as a partner. They don't see you as somebody that they want to commit to. You're repeating the same pattern with different men. You're waiting too long or jumping into exclusivity. You're assuming exclusivity means that you can marry him, that, okay, because he's my boyfriend, he's definitely my husband, which is usually not the case. Yes, your husband is going to be your boyfriend for a period of time, but not every man that is your boyfriend is going to become your husband, okay? You're setting the bar too low for exclusivity. This is why you're finding yourself stuck in situationships. This is why your singleness feels like a sentence. It's the way you are using it. That's the problem. Now, in the Dating to Marry program, we work together. Now, let me know if you have any questions. Just drop it in the question box. So Dating to Marry is my one-on-one program where we're going to work together for 6 months one-on-one to get you into a committed relationship leading to marriage in 12 months. Now, in that one-on-one framework, we're going to be meeting for 60-minute calls each week. I'm going to share with you my dating strategies that have helped my clients not only get married but also get clarity around the marriage God has called them into. Everyone has a specific blueprint for marriage. Your blueprint is not going to be the same as your friend. It's not going to be the same as your sister. It's kind of like your colleagues at work. You all got the job at different times through different means and have different skill sets. So think about marriage as the building, as an institution. Everyone's timing is different. Everyone's path is different. So the star factor, that I was sharing earlier is what the Dating to Marry program helps you to really get clarity on, which is what makes that, how to know the right man for you by paying attention to spiritual sensitivity, looking at what makes him stand out in spirit and soul, how to take him seriously, the timing around that, actions that support intentions, and really coming to the conclusion and the results that lead to commitment. Now, it's important that you know how to do this so that you are not wasting time with men that have no business being in your rotation. When I say rotation, I mean men that you shouldn't even be talking to at all. Okay, so if you want to apply for the Dating to Marry program, click the link in my bio to apply. The program is for 6 months. We work together one-on-one. It's $4,000 to work with me for that time frame, or 3 payments of $1,500. Now, I review your application and I'll get back to you within 24 hours on whether or not the program is the right fit for you. And I really believe that you will be in a position for me to help you get into a committed relationship leading to marriage. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions. I see no questions. Tap the hearts if this was helpful for you. I'll talk to you again soon. And let me just briefly mention, I'm having an open house for the Dating to Marry program. So if you want to learn about, how the program works in more detail, just click the link in my bio and register for the open house. It's going to be next Saturday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.